Let's get jazzy with the jazz cabbage and talk about our spiritual journeys. Eh? I am 31 and my name is Ella, if you didn't know. I am bold. And I recently have been going through what I like to call my spiritual awakening or spiritual grounding of connecting with God. And I'm reading the Bible for the first time. And I kind of wanted to go back into my history of spirituality. I was raised by a mom who was Wiccan and a dad who was Christian, non-denominational. And I did, when I was younger, probably like around middle school age, was doing youth groups and kind of involved with the church, but I was never interested in reading the Bible. I never fully had like faith, I was just like vibing with the world, right? And I was very open spirituality. Having a mom who was Wiccan, I grew up always being super open with tarot cards and talking to spirits, talking to the dead and sorts of different, woo-woo things that helped keep me open with other people's beliefs. And I've never been judgmental, but I've never felt called to learn about Jesus or read the Bible until recently. And one of the big pillars in my fiance and I's journey, because we are both going through this journey together. I've been with him for 6 years now, and him and I went through a miscarriage this recent October. And that was a really big pillar for both of us in finding God, because God helped both of us find the light in something so dark. And we just kept having faith and strength without even realizing that it was God giving us that, and always having hope for us and not giving up on us and forgiveness. And one night, my fiance and I just decided to talk about conspiracy theories and philosophy and religion for like 4 hours one night. Like, we were up late and I was just getting jazzy, and he was talking about Greek mythology, and we were just talking about conspiracy theories, and I wish I recorded it all. And I'm trying to get better now at talking about my spiritual journey in real time, because life changes like so fast, and I've been learning so much. And I truly believe everyone goes through their own spiritual journey with God, and I think we all have to connect with God our own way. But I also believe there's certain things people can hear that'll help direct them in that path. And that's my hope now with my content, is I've been learning to help people with whether that's positive mindset or learning healthy habits, or it's talking about spirituality and being curious about it, and always just leading with love and kindness and no judgment is how I am living my life. And I've never felt more at peace. And coming from someone who used to live their life super negative and low energy, and I feel really blessed that I just keep getting more and more awoke. Keep getting more woke. And I've barely made a dent in my Bible. Here, I can show you my Bible. It's cute. It's pink. I got the English Standard Version, and I got the 365-day Bible recap, which I was starting with the Old Testament and then barely made it through a few Genesises. And I was like, I really want to read the New Testament first and read what Jesus has to say and that whole story, and then go back and read it, which I'm excited to do. But it's also interesting reading it as the 365, because it's not separated as books. Like, I guess there's like a book of John and a book of Luke. We're getting John's version of what happened to the story. Then right away we get Matthew's version. Then we get Luke's version. So sometimes it's a little repetitive. I like it in some sense, but I can't wait to, when I read it again, I want to read it differently, not the 365 way. But it's just so, the history behind the Bible that I've been learning with my fiance, because he's very science brain, like factual based. and learning about different things that scientists and historians have been discovering has been helping him with his journey and me, because it's not sitting here listening to someone preach and tell you this is how you should be living, or sitting here and instilling all this fear into you. Just see a lot happening with people who try to like preach Jesus's word, and I know they're doing it with loving intention, but I don't think God ever wants to instill fear. And I don't know that for sure. Maybe God does. Maybe, look, I don't know everything. I'm still learning, and my mind changes constantly. So I'm just really excited and grateful to be going on this journey. I think we need to get Jazzy. I think this is a good break and kind of collect our thoughts. Let's get Jazzy. And I do consider myself a witch still. And I call myself a witch who follows Jesus. Because I used to be, when I say I was open with spirituality, I was very open in a sense where I was talking to other gods, like Hecate or Aphrodite. And I was getting curious and like talking to and learning how to talk to them. And on my path and journey, I've realized how dangerous that can be, and how, if God's real, which I believe God's real, evil's real. And evil is very deceptive and deceives. And I personally have never just felt more love and safety and security now that I've been only talking to God and talking to Jesus. And I can really get into that whole path if people want more details, because I do have some hypotheses about how me talking to Hecate might have led to bad things happening in my life. So let me know if you guys want more details about that. And I'm excited. I have my Triple Moon Circle community that I've been growing, where I connect with my soul sisters all around the world. And we just talk about life and spirituality and mindset. And we're doing live group sessions. I even have one for tomorrow. So any questions people have about more in depth of my journey, we can do more of that, like for the live group sessions. And it's totally free right now to request to join. And if you want more, check out the details if you're watching this video on YouTube. But I'm losing my train of thought. All that. There's so much that I could talk about. I could talk for hours about spirituality and my journey and my beliefs. And I'm welcome to any questions so I can go more in depth. It's why I want to be filming more in real time, because there's just so much. And I have so many notes that I've been taking. I have this whole note I call my Bible philosophy, where as I'm reading the Bible, I write things down and I write down questions, and my fiance and I will talk about it. And I am writing timelines down where, like, when things happen, because I kind of get a little lost, and I'm writing down different, another thing I'm going to post for my soul sisters in my group only is I found these articles that are free. Like, it's basically websites with free access to stories that were written by women who had major roles in Christianity. Because I've been really interested in the women's side, because, I'm reading a lot of the men's point of view right now. And I'm like, where the ladies at? I want to feel my feminine power and energy when it comes to learning about God and Jesus. And so I will post all those websites and stories and stuff in that group as a resource for y'all to read. I'm going to be reading them as I read this. This is my main. I try to read this when I'm wanting to learn more about God and Jesus, because this is way better than me watching TikToks of people's perspective, which I also do love. And I love watching like NDEs, near-death experiences, and hearing their stories and how they connect. And I even have my own magical stories with magical gifts God has given us on this earth that has helped me connect with them. And I have my own version of God that I've seen that I can tell y'all at a story time. And just life is just so magical. And I love life. And I'd love to hear y'all's stories with how you found God. I'm even doing a whole podcast called Leading with Love, where I started doing that. Y'all, like, my hands are full but I go every day with the intention of, is this helping somebody? And sometimes that's myself, because you have to give that self-love to help others, but majority of my energy is learning to help others so we can just all live in love and harmony. This was so much fun to make. I've been yapping, but I appreciate those who listened, and I love y'all. Don't forget to just be kind to yourself. We got this.